Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Learn From Us podcast. As always, I'm Seth. I'm the illustrious and handsome host. I'm here with Paul.
The less illustrious and less handsome co-host.
And I think for the first time ever, we have a female guest
on the podcast.
In studio, in front of a live studio audience of 3 people. I'm here with Nicky Earhart. How are you, Nicky?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. We have a mutual friend, a bride that I photographed. Many shout out to Lauren. I love you. And but I put out a Facebook post. I said, listen, we need some female gals who are totally
as opposed to the male gals.
Well, we have a lot of males on this podcast.
Yeah, okay, gotcha.
A lot of dorky, nerdy guys.
Well, you said female gals, and I said as opposed to the male gals.
Sorry, I'm not really. You're right. We need females who are killing the game.
Killing it.
And your name came up, Nicky. Now, I think you're surprised to hear that, but you maybe shouldn't be. But tell me and Paul for the first time, introduce yourself a smidge and what you're into, and I'll cue in with the questions that I always do. Go ahead.
Awesome. Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Very
Thanks
much.
for being here.
It's going to be a good time. I can already
It'll
tell.
be a great time.
Yes.
Go ahead.
So anyways, I am from Huron. I recently moved back about a year ago with my husband and my 5-year-old.
From where?
Columbus.
Oh.
Yes.
So I was in Columbus too, and I'm now in Akron. I just moved about 4 or 5 months ago. So
Nice. Well, my husband and I are actually foster parents.
Oh,
and
good for you.
This is even more interesting.
Oh, trust me.
So
I could write a book.
Let's write a book.
That's a whole nother story. Keep going.
But anyways, we went through the whole adoption process.
Difficult, right?
It's a pain in the ass.
Yes.
It really is. But it was a 3.5-year process. So it's not easy. So as soon as the adoption was finalized, we moved in a month back to Huron. So here we are.
Can I make a useless political comment? It's not political. I'm not taking a side here, but there are plenty of parents who here want to adopt. So if you're ever thinking about ending a pregnancy, maybe there are other options out there.
You went straight to abortion.
I'm not saying that I'm in favor or against abortion. I'm not saying that. But the people I know who try to adopt, they're always like, I want a child. Like, let me have the child. So I'm not plugging or criticizing abortion, but I've heard many parents who do adoptions, they say, I would love to have a child. Please give me the chance.
How is that? Besides being difficult,
I wasn't trying
now
to plug
that it's
anything.
over, like, how rewarding is it to have this child in your life?
It's so funny, though, because we've had her since 3 days old, so it's never been
3 days?
We got her straight from the hospital. So, yeah, but she looks just like me. She acts like me. I'm in trouble. I've already apologized to the Huron Police Department. I'm not even lying.
How old is she?
5.
Oh, nice.
What's her name? Can you tell?
Madison.
But you didn't adopt her. She's your foster child.
No, she's adopted.
Oh, good.
Yep.
Oh, I thought you were saying you didn't get the child.
No, we did. As soon as we adopted, we moved right back to Huron.
I see.
Excellent.
So, yeah, you would never know she's adopted.
Oh, how nice. I'll have to look at a picture when we're done. Tell me about your company.
So I am a HartWear Apparel. We originally started, I want to say, about 3.5 years ago. I don't sleep very well, and I just kind of had an idea to put a headband with.
You don't sleep because of the business, or
I just don't know how to sleep in general. My mind doesn't shut off.
Well, you close your eyes and you lay down. And
Doesn't
I'm like
work
this
that way.
too, though. I'm like this too. I have trouble shutting my mind off.
Problem
People have
is-
told me meditation. I'm like, I can't even meditate for 3 minutes. I got to keep thinking of something else. Or fishing.
Yeah.
I can't go fishing. It's like, the hell with this. I got to go do something on the internet.
Fishing. Okay.
Anyway, keep going. I cut you off, Nicky. Keep
You're
going.
good. You're good.
That's going to happen a lot.
What was the brainchild of this business? How did you start?
Honestly, I could not sleep. I had an idea. Usually, if it sticks with me by morning, I know it's something to try, because usually my ideas just
There you go.
cluster through the night, and then
yeah,
I don't
makes
remember
sense.
what I was thinking.
Uh-huh.
But at this point, I literally had never sewn a day in my life. I broke 3 sewing machines
Come
trying to sew a rectangle. Trust me, I'm not very domesticated.
Okay, go on.
But yeah, so I glued some clips on.
But how did it come up to you in your head while you were trying to go to sleep? You're just like, first off, what is the product? Why don't you explain to everybody what the product
that's great.
is?
Thanks, Paul.
Okay. So basically what it is an athleisure athletic headband that has permanently sewn clips into place. So long, short, thin, thick, does not matter your hair type. You can be male, you can be female. It will stick in your hair. All you gotta do is put it on, however it feels comfortable, and then you pop the clips open and snap it into place.
Show us one.
We have some.
We have some.
So yes.
I'm the model.
Paul, you're going to wear that one for sure since it's Halloween.
sure.
Yeah.
So what's the reason for, so tell us the problem that occurred that made you go, we should do this.
Now, this is funny. Before she answers, this is funny because Don just walked in and said, hey, My wife loves these. Do you have any that don't slip off her head? Go, Nikki.
So the beautiful thing is everything has a clip. So I've never had hair ever my entire life. I've always been into different color hair, long hair, short hair. I've just never had it. So I've always been into hair extensions. I've always been into wigs. I've been into everything. And the number one thing that they use are hair clips. So with these clips, they're already made. They have a silicone band sandwiched in between them that when you pop it open, the hair slides in like a comb. And when you pop it shut, it sits right there between the silicone band and the clip.
I think you have to put this on me because I really have no idea what I'm doing.
Okay. We can do that.
You could wear that as an ascot as well, which I know
it'd be a very nice ascot.
But, that's the nice thing about these. Actually,
See,
there we go. That's what we're going to put on.
we totally color match today.
So do you have a patent on this?
I do.
Do you really?
I did. So we did not research anything. I was just pretty much like, okay, I'll put my idea out there. I know somebody will take it.
Sure.
So I went around looking for attorneys. I went through quite a few. Finally, I had one guy that actually would sit down with me.
That's it?
That's it. I'm pretty sure.
So these guys wouldn't take business?
No. They didn't. No. I'm a girl. I'm a female
Attorneys.
who's messing with a hair accessory. It's $1 billion industry.
It is.
But they always think that it's
I'm
always
sure it's
been done.
more than $1 billion
No,
industry.
I'm sure it is. So I met one guy and he just looked at me. He thought I was off my rocker. And he's like, but you know what? I love girls basketball, and you can't believe how many times their headbands are on the floor.
Oh,
and
look at that.
I've seen people slip and fall. So we patented it right off the bat.
How does that process even go? Because
It's very long and expensive. So, but there is a really good reason for it. So initially we started off probably at about a $1,500 retainer. That right there goes
that gets you nowhere.
It gets you nowhere except for your research, because they actually research everything first to make sure that there's not already a patent out there, which is the nice thing. But after that, then they do all of the drafting, which is even nicer. And then when you get the paper back and it's got all the medical terms in it, it's got the picture, it shows exactly A to Z how to do it. You sit there and you realize, okay, I did pay all this money for something good.
So the point of this patent, just refresh my memory, the point of having this is that someone obviously just can't steal this.
No.
But they can make knockoffs from China, and
But that doesn't mean they can sell it here. So we have 3 patents on a fantasy football game we have, and then we have other products that we
what about
sell.
the gloves, the weightlifting gloves?
So the gloves we don't have patents on, but there are people who have blocked us on other items we've tried to sell because they're like, hey, we have a patent on this. We're like, oh shit, we can't sell that anymore. So the patents are very good for protecting you on that.
So you said you started this company how many years ago?
3.5.
3.5.
Yep.
So when did you get the patent? You have the patent. You don't have it just.
Patent.
When did that go into effect? Probably a year ago, year and a half.
Probably about 10 months. So yeah, we're coming up on a year. We did about, like I said, we did probably about 4 years of research before anything. And that was just because we've prototyped these things so many times from thick to thin. And I think one of the biggest things we've kind of realized is that tapered is our number one. And we're constantly changing. We're doing kids
What do you mean
now.
by tapered?
So
First,
go for it.
I do think this interview could be stronger if Paul was wearing that
Well,
purple.
we're going to put that on here shortly. Don't you worry.
So number one thing a lot of people always complain about is that their hair bulges in the back.
Give me this teal one.
Bulges in the back.
Yeah, so like your hair.
Faux fum.
So your hair will stick up back here, which is a big problem. So with them being tapered, it's shorter in the back. Therefore, you aren't going to get as much as resistance with the hair.
And this isn't as tapered as much.
Correct. So usually men don't do the tapered, but
Do men actually use this?
Oh my God, yes.
Oh my God, yes.
High school soccer boys right now with their man buns.
Oh no,
It's
they had
huge.
these are illegal. They're having problems in the NFL because everyone's wearing these
Yeah.
now.
What
It
is
looks
it?
like a band, like a pirate bandana, like the NFL guys, the basketball guys.
Oh, got it.
What did it say? Man of God.
Yes.
And
that was
their sales have gone
really?
insane, just because he wore a headband that said "Man of God,"
Can
and he
you-
got fined.
Can you put this on me?
Sure.
okay.
You can get up if you'd like. It's up to you.
Okay.
Look
Nikki,
at you.
How do I look?
You
Sexy?
look incredible.
Actually, it looks pretty good.
Oh yeah.
Here,
You kind of look like a 1980s.
Workout instructor, like one of
No,
those
like a rocker.
jazz aerobic guys.
Just put it on like this.
I want to make sure
This is a wig
I'm
I
doing
have
this
on,
right.
so-
Oh wow, I do
This
look.
is a wig, so you gotta be careful with this.
Hair plugs.
I do look really.
So actually, it's funny you mentioned that. I don't have hair plugs, but I took hair from the back of my head and put it on top.
You're not afraid to share this, Paul?
I don't. I'm not. It's funny. Lisa always says the same thing. She's like, "Why do you tell everybody?" I'm like, "I don't know."
So I came to him and like, man, you have freaking amazing
Amazing
hair. Well, they did tell us about that surgery, Paul.
Well, I'm going to show Nicky a picture of me before and after.
So they cut out a strip of the back of Paul's hair. You know all about this. And
yeah.
They take out, let me see that again.
Yeah. I've seen videos of it actually being done.
Yeah.
And then they cut his head and put the follicles in.
Yep.
Okay, so now the whole point is it's not going to bop up and down because it's going to stay on me, correct?
Correct.
Wow, it feels very snug and beautiful. I kind of want one of these myself to play tennis in.
All yours.
So when you first started.
Actually, it's not a bad idea for the tennis. Look at it, how it matches my sweater. I didn't even tell you that.
Stunning, Paul. Okay, when you first started, what were your initial fears about starting a business? What were you doing beforehand that led you to this?
Yeah, that's a good question.
I was a sign language interpreter.
No.
God. You just get more interesting.
Sign language interpreter, huh?
Wait a minute. Wait. Pause this. Pause the fucking show. Okay, please tell me that you can do that shit where they sign the rap songs.
Yes,
no.
End the show, I mean.
No.
That lady's intense. You've seen that video, right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that lady's intense. She's like,
I purposely,
if
if we ever go somewhere that has an interpreter, I will sit there, and I'd prefer to be in front of them because they have the most.
Wait a minute. Just hold on a second. Just blowing my mind. The hell with these headbands.
Told you we could have our own show.
Can you sign what you're saying right now?
Oh,
just
Lord.
a little bit.
Put
No one's gonna know.
huh?
No one's gonna know.
Have you not done it in a while?
Oh, well, it's probably it's been a while, but I mean, right now we're just simcomming. So you can understand what I'm signing at the same time
So
that
you have
I'm
to watch
interpreting.
this on YouTube, people.
Okay.
So Paul's favorite sign when he's talking about business
Here we go.
is he's talking about filling a business funnel.
I do this all the time, not knowing. I'm talking about you have a funnel and you put stuff in it.
Stuff in.
Like this. And what'd you just do this?
Well, this is apparently a very sexual move, Nicky. I don't know if you're aware, but this is sort of a move. So
Hand movement.
So I have these business
Guys on the floor. Jeez.
I have these business. Well, Tim's a little light under the covers, but no, so in our business meetings, Paul's just like, I'm just feeding the funnel.
I don't do that though, Nicky. Here's what it is. The funnel's here. I'm going like this, and I'm always doing that. And Seth finally one day, to break the kind of monotony of our meeting, goes, Paul, you always do that, and I'm just like, oh my God, you're right.
That's the thing, though, is that you never know until you see it actually on camera.
So I wanted to learn sign language because I'm just amazed by it. So just do a little bit more to tell me about. Anyway, so wait, but you specifically said okay.
Should we have Nicky on the episode every single time? Sign language.
Standing right here.
This is sign language.
We got a new career
Hell
for you.
no.
Yeah. We'll take over the patent.
She just said hell no.
Oh shoot, damn.
Refuse.
Okay. So you were a sign language interpreter.
And at the time, like I said, we were going through adoption. You don't realize that when you're gone 9 to 5, it's not easy. So I started freelancing for an interpreting agency, and I did medical. So I was doing a lot of surgeries. I was up at 4 a.m. But I was able to. Yes.
So the people getting surgery, you're signing them
until they go until they go to sleep.
How much demand is there for this thing?
Oh my God, there's huge.
Really?
Yes.
So can I ask you how much you got paid doing that?
At that, I'll be honest, it really wasn't that good. It was $25 an hour, but you got to think, because you're freelancing, they do not pay for your mileage, they do not pay for your taxes, they do not pay for anything. So essentially,
$25 an hour. I think it'd be more than that.
More than that, 40,
it should
50.
Be. It should be.
Well, it should be what it is. The whole point is, I get what you're saying. That's incredible, though. You would think First of all, I don't think I've ever met a deaf person. Have you ever met a deaf person? Like 100% deaf. I have a friend who
hard of hearing.
He's 21. He wears the pack and the ears and everything like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, I haven't. I don't think. Maybe at a wedding I had to write stuff down or something.
We had to have, with all your weddings.
200 weddings. I'm sure I met someone like that.
Mm-hmm.
You've never seen an interpreter at a wedding? That's actually a good call. You'd have to seen somebody.
No. Yes, I have.
Yeah, you had to have.
To officiate the wedding, initially.
What percentage of the population is deaf? Do you know? I'm gonna look that up right now.
That's a good question. I'm really not sure.
I had a wonderful couple that hired an interpreter for their wedding, and the deaf people were late. And so this poor lady.
That's a real thing, though.
This poor lady was signing to no one, and then the deaf people showed up. What do you call them? I hate referring to people as deaf people, black people.
0.38%.
It's very low.
That's
You
one
just
in
call them
every
deaf?
250.
You say deaf people?
Deaf or hard of hearing.
Deaf folks.
It's a very strong, very empowered community.
Wow.
They don't look at it. Yes, it's considered a disability, but they don't look at it as a disability.
Yeah.
They can do the same things as everybody else.
Of course.
So.
So had you been a business owner prior to these headbands?
No, but I grew up in a business family. So my father was, he had worked in manufacturing. They had built steel hand trucks and dollies. He had built a company, and that's just, I was brought up on the fact that my dad left at 4 o'clock in the morning and didn't come home till 6, 7 o'clock at night. So when I got older, I realized I don't do well working for other people, especially when I don't get to leave, do what I want, do how I please. Exactly.
Do what you do.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So this is what I did. I don't know why. I don't sleep. It came to me. So we immediately researched it, went to the attorney. Once we got the patent and everything going in, we started doing the prototypes.
So what are your sales now per year?
Per year, we're probably right now in probably the best. We're probably at about 65.
Okay.
Isn't that incredible?
Yeah. What do you sell on? What platforms?
We do Facebook. We have our own website. We're currently getting on Etsy, Amazon Handmade. And then we're also starting to do a lot of vendor shows now with the holidays, and that's becoming a huge...
Are you seeing growth every year in sales?
This year has been the best. So technically the business has only been open for 2 years, technically.
Oh, okay. Okay, so you mean... So the 2 years of sales of it, but there's
2
been...
years,
oh,
yes.
okay.
Yes, but we've been doing the patent for 4.
Yeah.
3.5, 4.
Patent takes a while.
Yep.
Awesome. So you decide not to... Because I know one thing you can do. When you apply for a patent, you can start making the product. You just run the risk of... If there's a patent already being done at the same time, you won't see it. And if all of a sudden you get your patent, they tell you, hey, this is already in the copper. You can't do this anymore. You got to stop it.
Yep. And that happened, actually. We found somebody in Pennsylvania who was creating the same things. And I had actually put my application in about 8 months prior. Yeah. So yeah, it does happen.
So what does this cost you to make?
$2.42 on average.
And what do you sell it for?
$20.
16 to 20.
That's great margins, people.
Yes.
Those are great margins.
And they'll go down eventually, obviously.
And you make all these yourself?
Yep, by hand.
By hand.
So yeah, where it's a very tedious process because I do everything from inside out. So there's really no seams for the most part. You aren't going to see any of the thread for the most part. A lot of people just kind of take the road of cutting the band in a rectangle, and then in order to make it a taper, they literally just fold it into thirds on top of each other and then sew it.
So your cost of $240 or whatever it is, does that include your labor or no?
Yes.
How much do you charge yourself for your labor?
It's per piece, depending on how much they take a month and then how quickly they can get it back.
So you made over 4,000 pieces. You've sold 4,000 pieces this year.
Oh, probably more.
Oh my God.
Probably.
And you're
more.
doing this all by hand?
Yeah.
So
have you looked at China?
Yes.
And do you save any money from it?
Not really. And the reason why is because of the fabrics that we pick. We're very precise on what we choose. So like you have like a bamboo.
What's so great about this?
That one's actually an all natural bamboo cotton spandex. I'm dead serious. So like
you say come on, like she just told you she split the atom.
Because for half a second, I'm imagining this powerful woman out back shucking bamboo and then shushing it into some sort of microfiber.
The biggest thing too is that just because it comes from China and it is cheaper does not necessarily mean you're going to get the quality.
Yeah,
the placement of the clips.
You can find the quality. That's the thing I always tell people about China. It just takes a lot of effort.
It does.
And it takes time. And you're if you were doing 100,000 units a year, I'd be like, you're crazy for doing this on your own.
At what point? Yeah. What's the breaking point with you making these by yourself?
I think that's kind of where I'm at right now. And I say that because I'm scared to just make that jump a little bit. And I say that because we are working more for a wholesale end. We're doing a lot of high schools. We're doing dance studios. We're coming up with... We're getting into...
So what do you wholesale this for?
Anywhere from 9 to 11.
Okay, it's still good margins.
Yes. Yeah. We are still good margins. We also add seasonal items like right now, and I do not make them. We have hats, CC band hats, huge brand name. We buy the hats and we put 2 clips in, and you cannot believe they sell 18 a piece. And they'll go crazy, but they stay in.
So what is the, in terms of numbers, what are you envisioning? You said you're sort of at the breaking point. So is this where you have to hire in staff?
That's where I'm at right now. So because we are doing wholesale, because we're adding schools, we do vinyl pressing. I'm looking to hire in-house for a vinyl person and also adding on at least 1 to 2 more seamstresses. I have one that helps me as it is.
This greedy woman's going to go hire people. How greedy is that, right?
So, Nicky,
I'm horrible.
Exactly.
He says this because
everybody loves you now, but when you become a millionaire, they're going to hate you.
They're going to hate you.
Exactly. See, she just said that. She just agreed.
See, that's what I struggle with. So so I told you about what he's into. And when I first met him, the second you hear that someone might be a little more wealthy, then automatically they're a bad person.
They don't work hard.
They don't work hard. They're hardly working.
Yep.
And so the last podcast we did, we talked about how he thought that he wanted to do education about real estate and investing. So he hired me to film the videos. And then we decided the best platform would be a podcast. Then we got Tim on as a producer. We got Don Corleone to help us. Yep. And then we hired an Indian guy whom we love, Rohan Shavar. I was up last night at 12:45 in the morning, Ball. I almost didn't make it to the morning podcast because I was up too late.
Well, because in India, it's freaking, 9 in the morning at 12:45.
So I was talking to our Indian editors who are incredible. And they have now hired 3 editors on there, and it made a whole company, changed their whole life. And so like one guy had a thought to do something with the money sitting around, and now like all of us are employed. Meanwhile, little old me making $150,000. I've never employed anybody, and hopefully I'd get to that point someday. But Paul, I was talking to her about the belief that I don't see how this is any different from Spanx, and how Spanx is a gajillion-dollar company. It started in some girl's house, and so maybe
I play tennis. This would be perfect for tennis.
Yep. We do everything from every sport imaginable to, like I said, Bellevue Color Guard, Bellevue, Ohio. We just did all of their sequin.
Who's that?
The Color Guard cheerleaders for football.
Yeah.
They do the flags.
Oh.
So yeah, we're like you said, cochlear
Do
implants.
CrossFit people love these?
Yes.
Because that's enormous. And Paul's into CrossFit. He can't stop talking
doesn't
about
matter.
it. Doesn't matter who's into it.
Do you know how many women buy
hate
these
CrossFit.
and they do yoga and they don't? I do. That's me. I tell you, I go to yoga and I really don't. I just look the part.
She did the air quotes, folks, when she said, do
I'm
yoga.
honest. I'm
Well,
so not
my
a
wife,
BSer.
I absolutely love when she wears those yoga pants. Those are the best pants ever made. Just the
Form-fitting.
form-fitting booty work.
Do you give her a little pinch?
Of course.
Of course.
It's turned a really weird
No,
direction.
Nicky, that's not weird at all.
This is the weird direction? Nicky, you have no idea what's going to happen
I think
here.
sparks just flew in their eyes.
Go
at
back
each
to
other.
listen to podcast 57 about us shitting our pants. Okay, Nicky. So
I sharted.
So how do you? I'm sure, Paul, you're probably wondering how
does she market this thing? Like that's a
Thank you.
big thing for me because Amazon's great for marketing. Etsy will help you market, but when it comes to driving people to your website, how does it happen?
It's hard. And the reason why it's hard is that because when you look at it, it's just a standard typical headband. And that's where I think things have started to take a turn because now I can talk about it, I can show it. But now that we're online and people are coming to the website, I need to start pinpointing more directly. And that's kind of where I'm scared to go off across the road because I'm trying to pinpoint everything first. So the biggest thing is we have to do videos. We have to have people showing the pictures.
She talked to me about that.
Oh, wonderful.
Isn't that funny?
Yes.
All you nerdy male listeners we have, if you happen to have a girlfriend or know what a girl is, buy one of these for them for Christmas, right?
Absolutely.
You have to.
My wife would love this.
I think I'm going to get this for Lisa for, she doesn't listen to the podcast anyhow, so I'm going to tell her it's for Christmas.
And that's the thing.
I'm 2 months early.
These are just the Halloween. I mean,
Oh yeah, I'm not going to get her the
You
Halloween
name
one.
it.
This is Halloween?
well, yeah, it's
Oh, there's skulls there. Look at that.
How nice.
I actually thought it was paisley at first. I thought it was like
We have those though.
Do you? I
Yeah.
like paisley.
I have everything.
So go back to marketing. What ideas?
Have you ever thought about,
Go ahead, Paul.
have you ever thought about going to a company and saying, just pay me a royalty?
Yes.
How's that going?
What does that mean, Paul?
Oh, she's working on it now, isn't she?
What does that mean, Paul?
Oh, she can't tell us. Ooh, Paul hit it on the head. So
No.
what she'd do is I have a patent. I'm going to go to Lululemon.
Of course.
And
That'd
say
be
to
a dream.
them, here's the deal. I have this patent. Just make these and give me $1 for every single one you sell. And then Lululemon's in charge, and then she sits back, smokes her cigar, collects her $10 million a year, and loves it.
I'm not like that.
I know, but listen,
I have to be hands-on.
but you can go do something else hands-on. You can go create. This is go fight the fight worth fighting. Your fight worth fighting is come up with
Right.
more ideas. Go patent
and
more
that's
ideas.
where I'm at. You're absolutely right.
So yeah, I think Paul hit on the head. I don't think your interests are best served actually sewing these anymore.
Correct.
It must be
Sewing is literally but you have to do it. I get it, but
Yeah.
To grow, you got to just maybe go to somebody and say, listen, guys.
And that's the grunt of the work that comes with being successful.
So
and in order for it to be perfect, I have to do it.
Do you hear that, folks? She's making a sacrifice in order to be successful. I know that's hard for you all to understand out there, but sacrifice is needed at times to be successful.
So, Paul, I thought you were going to. So this is interesting because I echoed these same sentiments. And then I have really loved the tutelage of Paul because I thought you were going to say something about when she said that perfection is needed.
Yeah, we don't go into that one quite yet.
What?
Because it's a subjective term. I mean, I don't know what she means by perfection.
Right.
You know, listen, she's very particular with the stuff, but at the same token, you got to realize that somebody out there will make it the way you want it to make it. And if they don't, that's more of you than somebody else. Like, you know, at some point, you got to realize if I want to sell 1 million of these a year, I got to sacrifice, you know, it not being done exactly the way I want it done. And you'll find somebody who'll do it the right way. Trust me.
And that's where we're at.
Lululemon.
I think.
Go to Lululemon. Who do we know at Lululemon? Anybody?
You?
I'm not at Lululemon.
Wait, what, they're not one of the L brands? Lululemon is not.
No, they're
just,
separate. They're publicly traded on their own, right? Yeah.
I'm open.
But they get shopped they get pitched all the time, but at the same token, this wouldn't be hard for them to do.
So I see hunters wearing this at
we do bright yellow, we do
camouflage.
Bright green. Actually, I just ordered camo last night. Like you said, you can do any tropical, you can do any, I mean, you name it. It's endless. It really is. We do super thick all the way to super thin.
Now tell me this, don't you need, listen, I'm not a business specialist. Maybe give me your thoughts. Aren't most brands, Paul, defined by that logo that's on the outside that says what this is?
I mean, by the way, the other thing is knowing what the patent exactly is. Like, we have to know exactly what the patent is because maybe, and I'm not saying this as a criticism, a lot of people get patents on things and they're not as protecting because it's easy to really get around it. Mm-hmm. The more like protective this is, the better. If she really has this protection where nobody in the world can put some sort of fastener on the inside attached to your head, then she should. I think you're wasting your time doing it yourself. Go to Lululemon, go to Nike, go to Adidas, go to Under Armour and say, who wants this? Who's going to pay me the most amount of money for it? I want money up front and a royalty.
That's the beautiful part about having attorneys and paying them a lot of money because that's where they came up with all these loopholes. And I'm like, well, what if? And they're like, no, we already included it.
And these companies will look at the patent and say, how protected is this?
And
because your patent was issued, your patent date starts the day you file.
Correct.
So even though you don't get the patent for 2 years,
correct,
the 17 or 20 year term starts the day you file.
Yep.
What does that mean?
So a patent's is it 20 years now or is it 17 still? Whatever it is, let's assume it's let's assume. Hang on a second, I want to get this right. How long is a patent good for?
You can visit HartWearApparel.com. Heart HART. HartWearApparel.com. To see these headbands.
So 20 years. So right now she's like 3 years into a 20-year period. Yep. She's got 17 years left to milk this thing. So she goes and spends 2 years getting she can still make it on her own, but spends a good chunk of her time getting somewhere, getting conversations going where somebody just says to her, listen, you're into this thing for X, we'll give you $500,000 up front and then 50 cents or $1 for every single one we make forever, blah, for the next 17 years, and we own the patent. But they give her the royalty. And then she sits back and goes and creates more products or does other good, like fostering kids and sign language and no, she's shaking her head no. Okay, we don't want to foster kids.
It's too difficult.
So the whole point is, that's my take on it. Of course, Spanx, they probably would have done the same thing if they'd listened to me and probably wouldn't be a $1 billion company today. So it just depends on what she wants to do.
Wait, go back to that last thing. What do you mean?
Well, remember, we always talk about the hardest part about business, Nicky, I found is so many founders think that they're going to do everything. It's like, no, you got to pick what you're good at and focus on it. If you're really good at running a business and like it, keep doing it. But if you're like, I'm really good at coming up with ideas because my brain never shuts off, get paid to come up with ideas. And that's what you're doing there.
Exactly.
Yeah, I had to let go myself. I did photography, and so it started out where I had to do everything. Mm-hmm. And then I let go by letting someone edit my photos, or at least a preliminary edit. You're not taking it off, right?
No, I'm trying to see how it stays in and stuff.
You would look phenomenal on the tennis court with that.
So we don't actually clip it in. We have to do this.
So the beautiful part to this and what makes it completely different is that you don't mess with the clips at first. You just put it on like a normal headband.
And it naturally clips?
Nope. So what you do is you're automatically forming the headband to your head. So you do not need to worry about tension, pulling, damage, or migraines. So because it's already formed to the shape of your head, Once it's stretched to where it needs to be, then you clip it in so you don't have to worry about anything else.
Ah, it's clipped in.
Oh, jeez.
He's stuck.
This is the other reason why men usually look at me like I'm crazy.
Because
They've never dealt with hair accessories. That is the biggest thing. And a lot of the companies are male-owned and operated. So...
Damn men.
I know.
These idiots.
They're making their tampons and stuff, too.
That's changing.
I'm teasing Nicky.
Anyway, I was going back to like I had to let go a little bit
do.
for growth, and I let someone else edit my photos. And
Remember how anti you were about that when I
All of
first?
it.
I told him, I said, Seth, these videos got to be edited by somebody else. No, can't do that. Yes, you can. And now you live and breathe by Rohan.
because I was losing sleep over. I was editing this show for 3 or 4 hours, doctoring them up to perfection. Then we backed them off to letting someone who would love to do this work for the amount of money we're paying them. And I don't even touch them anymore. I got hired on as an editor, and now I'm just a podcast host.
Yes.
Exactly.
Not just a podcast host. It's actually a very important aspect of the business.
Well, yeah, but anyway, so that's hard. You mentioned fear a couple times.
Oh, yeah.
Talk
What's your
about
fear?
like I think I wanted you to have on because I think other people listening might have these same fears, and we can talk about
The
them.
fear is I don't have investors. I don't have somebody backing me. The money that we've put into it is strictly my husband and mine. So
What does your husband do?
he's in IT.
Oh, look at that.
Yes. He works down in Columbus.
Will you get a smidge closer?
Yes.
Thanks.
Her husband works in IT down in Columbus.
Yes.
So he drives every day.
No. He goes maybe once a week, every other week, something like that.
Not bad.
No, not bad at all.
So how does the IT stuff from up there? That's besides the point.
It's all computer. All the programs are online.
Why'd you ask? You trying to figure out how much money they have to put back into this, or
Well, I'm going to ask her, what'd you profit on that $65,000?
Honestly, all of it. Everything profit. What I don't really make the profit because I feel like I put it right back into my
Right, but if you
business.
stop putting it back in the business, what would you have made on that $65,000?
Probably about 40.
Who keeps your books?
Me.
So my first comment is you're not spending enough on marketing.
Correct.
I mean, if you have 40 grand in profit on 65, why?
Right.
what do you mean? Why?
Why have that much profit on 65?
Right.
Go spend 20 of that and go make 65 150.
Well, that's very scary when you're not making a ton of money, Paul.
But she wasn't making a ton of money before.
Correct. And that's like I said,
She
that's
doesn't
where
need
we're
to make
at.
She's got daddy at home making the big bucks in the IT world, right?
You're hilarious.
Aren't I though?
Hilarious. But that's what I'm saying. When I came in, I told you, I want to talk to you about a commercial. So here we
Yeah.
are. I've done all the social media that I can do other than hashtagging crap, which is fine.
Sure.
But
Outsource that.
in vendor shows, those only go so far. They're very profitable. It gets my information out. But that's where I think we need to start thinking more outside of the box.
Attacking the market with.
Yeah.
Facebook and Amazon. You get on just regular Amazon. Why do you need to be the Amazon Homemade or whatever it's called?
That's just the classification that they put us in because it's not considered I don't know how they classify it. It's just not considered a real business. It's still considered a home business, home-based. I'm not Nike. I'm not Armor. I mean, that's where they put me at for right now. So then once you clear so many sales, then they move you up into the regular.
So that's the thing. We were in regular day one.
With the gloves?
With the
weightlifting
gloves.
This
Yeah, we do a
is,
lot of, we have a brand called Fit Active Sports and we got regular day one.
I have no
Granted, we were
clue.
made in China. Pakistan.
Is that Mary?
That's Mary.
Oh, hey, doll. I didn't even see her
Well,
back
you have
there.
to have what are they, IEN numbers? You have to have a bunch of different numbers. And of course, when you're handmade, you don't have anything.
Or you can still buy them though. You can get your own numbers.
Oh, you can buy them, yeah.
What are they called? I forget. I'm not the expert in that one. My boys are.
I know what you're talking about. I just can't
Interesting.
remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's IBSN or ISBN or something like that.
Yeah, and you can buy them. You absolutely can.
So what are your dreams? Like people like say 5 years down the road. Where would you like to be with this? Because I only ask because I have shifted.
Shark Tank.
Knowing someone like this, I've shifted my dreams. I talk about this on our podcast all the time. Is my dreams were if I could retire one day to now like surrounding myself with guys like Mo and Paul is like now I'm gonna try and make millions and millions of dollars to set up my kids, set up a charity, set up
Mary.
Mary.
Yeah.
And so do you struggle with that mindset of like, this could go huge?
Do I know it can go huge? Yes. My mindset, if I like something like this, I'd love to do. I love the creative process. I'd love to be able to look at any avenue. Nothing scares me in that sense. I mean, all you have to do is say no if you're not interested.
That's right.
I mean, that's the honest to God truth. I mean, it does come down to money, and it comes down to a number.
So why don't you call some companies up in the next week or two?
Okay.
Free advice. Actually, we're paying for advice. And say, hey, I've got an idea. I have a patent on an idea that I think pertains to your brand, that could be useful for your brand. How do I go about doing it? Now, it's always better to have somebody call for you, but at the same token, start the process off that way.
Right.
No?
Well, no, I'm totally okay with it. But what would you go with? Would you go with Lululemon?
All of them. All of them.
Would you go more for
all of them?
All of them.
You do not, you call
Don't
Reebok,
limit.
Adidas, Nike, Lululemon, make a list of 20 companies and you call every single one of them.
Okay.
And you don't call them, you don't stop calling them until they tell you, please stop calling us. You are a horrible person. That's when you stop. And even then you go, all right, I'll talk to you next week. I mean, listen, these guys get pitched everything every day. They want to find somebody who's like really, and I don't want to throw more cost on you, but make sure that go take that patent to another patent attorney for a second opinion and say, how protected is this? Okay. Like if I go to, not to knock your attorney, but to take an outside view. And by the way, I have one if you want me to have him talk to you. Just say, what would you beat up in this? Because I want to go take this to another company. And also, a big patent attorney firm will have contacts at big companies like Nike, Lululemon, all that stuff. So where was your patent attorney? What city?
Dublin.
Oh, so that's a big city. It's Columbus suburb. Talk to them and say, hey, do you have contacts at these companies? Let's go talk.
They're actually an intellectual property attorney.
Well, right. That's what I mean. It's a patent attorney.
Yep,
IP.
Exactly.
So talk to them and say, hey, who are your contacts at some of the major manufacturers? Because, listen, this is my opinion. And I'm not saying that it's right. Nobody says bless you.
Gesundheit.
Mary. Like, literally, I don't know if you realize how mad that makes me. I'm going to kill you right now.
Isn't he lovely, folks?
She always does this to me.
Nothing happens to you because it is live, right?
It's not live.
Well,
she knows.
It's recorded.
Yes. She knows that I'm not really going to kill her, unfortunately. Go to these offices and just say, like, this would be perfect for sit back, relax, and enjoy your flight. I mean, I look at that going, you can make literally 7 figures a year just giving this to somebody. Because guess what? What's Lululemon going to sell this for?
35,
yeah.
45, yeah.
So is it unbelievable to say, give me $1 for each one? It doesn't seem egregious to me. Doesn't Michael Jordan get 15 cents for every dollar, 15% of every sale he gets?
15% goes to Jordan?
Yeah, or something like that.
I believe it.
Or maybe it's to LeBron or something like that. So I look at this going, if you ask for 3% from Lululemon, they're going to sell a ton of these.
Right.
Yeah, yoga folks are going to love these.
Oh, yeah.
The sports folks, too.
If Fit Actor Sports was bigger, I'd be talking to you about this, but we're not big enough to support this. We only did 2.5. We're only do $3 million in revenue. You need to go to one of the big shots, one of the big companies out there. But if you want help from us to sell this for you online, we could talk about this. If you want to keep it.
You know what the biggest, I'll be completely honest, you know what the biggest
problem
is? Shut up. Do I fit in?
Go ahead.
As long as you don't tell me to say bless you before I sneeze.
Go ahead, Nicky.
Bless your heart. So people in this business don't have mentors.
Well, nobody has mentors.
That is the biggest thing, though, because you go into this blindly.
Of course.
You know what I mean? You could make every single step that we're talking about.
Yes.
But guess what? You don't.
So I hired him to be my mentor for my business because.
Look at you now.
Well, that's what I say. No, the
Paul,
point.
I want my money back.
The point is, we're four creatives. I think like yourself,
right?
That would never want to delegate our work. Want everything to be. Maybe I'm just speaking on my end. I would never want to delegate my work. I have to have everything done my way or the highway. And then the room for growth is zero because I have to have my hands on everything. I just got out of a company where a CEO literally had his hand on the fonts we make for his Instagram videos, hundreds of Instagram videos. He would critique the fonts. And at some point, he couldn't let go. He's no longer there anymore. Right. And so I hired him. We hired him to be the dad in the room, tell us, damn it, we got to stop doing it this way and do it this way. And although hard it is to hear, I have these conversations with my wife, who's one of our business partners. And it's like, Paul keeps saying these radical things that I hate hearing and I don't want to do.
Radical things like call people.
But if I keep doing it my way, I'm just going to stay exactly where we're at.
You're in a circle.
Yeah.
Constant circle.
Call people. Yeah. Call people's working.
Time is an infinite circle. You're right about that, about mentorship. There's so many good ideas there that I remember years ago, I'm not going to get into the idea, but a guy had a brilliant idea and he just kept living on the fact of somebody will eventually find it. if I just put it out there, I'm like, that's not the way it works. And when I say brilliant idea, like 15 years ago, it recycled, disposed trash, and put it into something very practical use today. I'm like, it's not going to be found. He's like, oh yeah, this idea sells itself. Like nothing in the world sells itself. You've got to go sell this stuff. And the fact that, so when you say you do the books, like do you have QuickBooks and everything?
Yes, it's QuickBooks, but everything, right? We switched over to Shopify.
Nikki, we get the mic just a little bit so I can hear you. There you
Sorry.
go.
So like right now we switched over to Shopify, which kind of then
does everything
for me. It just, because it is right now just me.
So can I ask you a question, Nikki?
Oh, God.
It seems,
I know, I'm in trouble.
seems like your accounting probably isn't the main focus for you.
Correct.
Do you have anybody who could handle the accounting for you?
No. But
No.
that, like I said, we're at that spot where
I'm
we
not
can
saying
jump.
I'm not saying as a criticism.
No, you're absolutely right though. I'm at that spot where we're at that line of letting go and focusing on what's more important. So right now, obviously, for the most part, the patent is done. The way that, I think we pretty much prototype as much as we can. We keep up on the trends. We keep adding new avenues, but now we need to focus on other stuff. We need to reach more people. We need to get more marketing. And obviously finances need to be the top.
Her mind's in the right place.
Yeah.
How many small business owners say they have it all figured out?
Or I have no clue what I'm doing. It's fine. You just need help to go get there.
I'm at that stage where most people would quit. That's where I'm at.
I think you're past that stage also. People quit all along the way.
Yeah.
But now it's really getting tough though, because you're deciding whether or not you can make this many as you need, hitting your deadlines while doing everything else.
So before you came here today, what were you doing? Were you making more of these?
No.
When do you make these?
Morning to night. I get up about 4:30. I go downstairs. 6:30. I come up, get my kid ready for school.
Wow. What are you thinking, Paul?
I just think the avenue of going to the companies is a great idea.
This early?
Especially this early.
Mm-hmm.
Especially this early. I'm not saying that you shouldn't do this on your own because clearly it's a high margin business. Mm-hmm. But I sit there. My viewpoint is, you've already done the hard part.
Yes.
Go let somebody else do everything else, and it's a smaller piece of a much, much bigger pie.
Yep.
Some people would sit there and say, no, I want to make 100,000 of these and I'm fine making 500,000 a year, as opposed to let somebody else go do it, make 5 million of these things, and you get paid millions of dollars a year to do it. To just sit there and look pretty. That's my opinion. But again, everybody's different. If I'd done that same thing, who knows? I just look at it going, if this is a properly protected patent, and I don't mean that as a criticism of anybody, it just means I'll be honest, there's some patents that I've gotten in the past where we knew it wasn't, somebody could fight it a little bit. We've seen some patents where we're like, how the hell did they get this patent? This is useless. The whole point is, go to a big company and say, hey, Lululemon, you're going to sell a ton of these anyhow. Hey, Nike, you're going to sell a ton of these anyhow. Put your Nike on there. You handle all the manufacturing. You do what you guys do well. Just give me a check.
What person does she even need to reach out to? What is their title at these companies?
Good question. Talk to your patent attorney. I don't know who does this at companies. Does anybody know? Mary? Mo?
I was going to say, it's not easy.
Yeah.
Because they get pitched all the time.
Exactly.
They get every,
But they don't exactly have that, please call for a meeting. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
It's not online specific.
Well, actually, I'm going to look it up now.
You said Shark Tank, Paul. What is...
Well, I look at Shark Tank and I go, first off, she's a female, right?
We need more of those.
And
they're beautiful. They smell nice.
Well, didn't you say some don't smell nice?
I have this weird hiccup that I think some people
How do you think Danica Patrick smells? Do you think she smells good?
If you had to guess.
Probably better than she used to when she was in the pits.
See? What about, who's my other girl?
Jennifer Lawrence.
What about Jennifer Lawrence? You think she might smell funny?
Seth thinks that she smells funny.
For no reason at all.
I bet she has her moment. Have you seen her on the red carpet?
Oh, she's stunning.
She's a trip.
Oh, yeah. Maybe that down
She's your typical...
Anyway, I digress. Go ahead, Paul. What were you saying about
I don't remember what I was saying. What was I saying?
I was on Shark Tank or like...
Yeah, I was looking... Oh, yeah, Shark Tank. Mm-hmm. So you have a female here who's done foster care and blah, blah, blah. It's a good story. They like that stuff. And I believe that they're not charging the 5% anymore. But imagine you go on there and you got a guy like Damon John or Lori Grenier.
Yep.
Or Paul Gabriel.
Well, I'm not going to catapult it like they would.
Of course.
Right?
I actually thought that. It's funny you bring that up. Going back to all this. So you asked about our media.
European? Oh my God. Get a Europe patent. No, seriously, go to Europe and go tell your attorneys to get you a European patent. Man buns, hello.
They can apply for it.
Yeah, you can apply for European.
You just
patents.
have to pay for the license.
I think something that, again, not a critique, but something I would love to see on your website is your story.
Yes.
And I find, so I'm in the media business. So we sell story, not product.
Right.
And so I relate this to, it's very rare that Apple comes out and says, here's a computer. It does this. Apple makes people dancing, strangers come together in the streets and fall in love while they have earbuds.
Right.
So I didn't actually know your story. And I think people can fall in love with both the headbands and you.
Correct.
Because, so.
I found the website on Nike. Already did.
What does it say, Paul?
It says, if your idea has a utility patent, utility model, or pending non-provisional patent on file with the appropriate government agency, you can submit it to Nike. We will not consider design submissions, artwork, advertising, marketing suggestions, blah, 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 blah. Before you submit ideas, note the following. Idea submissions do not meet our guidelines will be returned to you without consideration. Acceptance of a submission does not imply we'll use your idea that you'll receive any compensation. It may take up to 1 year to review submissions and respond. There's no exclusivity implied by the submission process. We encourage you to pursue other opportunities. To submit your idea, download the applicable form below, read it carefully, complete it, and follow the directions to submit your idea.
Damn, I can't believe you found that.
It's called, really, how do I submit my idea to Nike? That's what I Googled.
Oh.
What's your email?
HartWear, HartWear, APP.
You down with APP?
Yeah, you know me.
At?
Gmail.
Get yourself a website address.
You know what? I had it. I've had it.
You got to get you a G Suite. You got to get you a G.
I have it. Actually, I do have it.
Listen, it is a pain in the ass to get those website emails.
No, it's not. It's very easy, but that's okay. Your husband's in IT. Figure it out.
You're funny.
I told you he's going to lay.
Your husband's in IT. Your husband, it's like if Beth came to me and said, it's just so hard to take pictures. It's like, your husband takes pictures for a living.
And you still wouldn't do it.
He won't do it?
No, I'm just saying you wouldn't.
Well, then divorce him now. Make sure he doesn't get any piece of the patent. No, I'm just kidding.
Are you hearing this?
This guy, trust me.
Good advice.
He puts up with a lot of my crap.
I'm telling you, this is what I have to put up with in the meeting.
It's okay.
Like, this is not normal.
I want to impersonate your meetings sometimes. Hey, Seth, what'd you do this week? Paul, I was just so busy. I had kids. I don't see my kids. I love my wife. It's just so busy, Paul. You don't get it. Okay. You just don't get it, Paul. Okay. Paul, I'm just so busy. Okay.
Nicky, thanks for coming into the studio. Just like me, you're getting your ass kicked by Paul.
I'm not kicking Nicky's ass at all.
No.
Zero.
No.
I like critique. I like honesty. I do. As long as it's not rude or demeaning or putting somebody down, I love it. So yeah, I love honesty.
Listen, you're doing a great job making a very high margin product, and keep doing it, but put more money into advertising or call Nike and all those people. And listen, it's going to take a while. They probably get 1,000 submissions a month.
Oh, I guarantee they do.
So you gotta, but at the same point, a good patent attorney will probably have contacts that can probably skip a few steps for you.
Okay.
I'm quite sure a patent attorney calling is going to be much better than, here's my form that I filled out. There you go. You know what I mean? It's going to take a while.
Yeah, I agree.
Visit Nicky to see her headbands on HartWearApparel.com. HART, not the beating of a heart. On Instagram and Facebook at HartWear Apparel, right?
Yes.
HART.
HART. Good luck with everything you're doing. I'm super glad we had you on the podcast. I didn't know it was going to go this well, but sorry, I'm trying to leave with music. It's not working.
No, it was coming on. It was coming on. It was just too low.
I don't think so, Paul.
1,000%.
No, it's not hooked up right.
I heard the music.
I know it didn't go through here though.
Oh.
Yeah. Nicky, I'm sorry. I'm trying to produce a podcast while I host one as well. You see how it's working.
I appreciate you having me.
Thanks for coming all the way
Absolutely.
down.
Yes.
I can't wait to share this. I can't wait to share this and see what comes from it. And I'd love to have an update and maybe have you come in a few months to a year.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah. We're going to have you back in a year.
To have you back.
1 year. We will have her back.
I'll be too big for that.
I know, I was going to say.
For our podcast, or?
I want you bringing Rolexes for both of us as gifts. Right. Be like, here you go. Here's your Rolex, Paul.
I'm bringing you headbands. There you go.
I'll take the Rolex.
Don't you already have one?
Follow. Yeah, but it doesn't matter. I want another one. We'll go shopping together.
Follow us on YouTube and follow Nicky at HartWear Apparel. Thanks for coming.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Take care.